Hey guys, today we're going to talk about lanyards. Yes, lanyards. Please remember that lanyard colors correlate to photography permissions. If you snap a photo and see a person with a red lanyard, please delete it and retake it. Now, without context, this has been shared in many cosplay pages and convention groups with the hopes that it will be added as a badge policy for future conventions. And much to my surprise, has become a very polarizing topic within those communities, sparking large arguments for and against it being implemented at future conventions. Let's talk about it. Hey there, Mobbiner from YouTube. You know that because you're watching it on this channel. You might be wondering why I'm standing on the side of the road, outside, wearing a lab coat, and I couldn't answer that for you myself. Recently, there's been a post floating around in different cosplay groups showing 3 sets of lanyards: red lanyards, green lanyards, and yellow lanyards, indicating different levels of consent for photography. On the surface, I believe that sounds like a great idea. However, context matters. While that may be fine and good for other types of conventions, that absolutely does not work in an anime convention or any pop culture event for that matter. Comic-Con, music festival, it doesn't work for that. And let me tell you why. Say, for example, you're at, we'll use Youmacon as an example. Youmacon, if you don't know, is quite possibly one of Michigan's biggest anime pop culture events. I don't even want to call it an anime convention. This is a big pop culture convention in Detroit at the GM building. It's huge. You have no control in a large-scale event over who's going to be in the background of your photo. And there's actually a reason why I'm filming this out near a park in a public place. Keyword there, public. When you're in a public event, either at a convention center or a park or any place outside, chances are you're probably going to be on camera. Doesn't matter. You have no control over that. It's polite to ask before you take someone's photo. As a matter of fact, on the back of your badge, it straight up tells you that you are giving consent to be photographed for promotional purposes. Let's say you're a fan of somebody's costume, right? You know, not even a photographer. Not everybody with a camera is a photographer, right? You see somebody in a costume you like, typically they'll run to them and say, "Hey, I really like your costume." They'll take out their phone and be like, "Can I take your photo?" And at that point, the person in costume can either say yes or no. It's just that simple. Why would you want to overcomplicate the process by adding more arbitrary rules on top of that? It just doesn't make sense. It's overcomplicated. It's simple. Just ask. How do I ask someone for consent to be in a photograph or video? I agonized over this question for hours as I walked down the railroad tracks. I recalled earlier while filming, 2 girls on bicycles rode by in the background of my shot. And even though I was filming in a public place, I really wondered if they consented to be in the video or not. If only they had one of those lanyards, then I'd have my answer for sure, wouldn't I? It's times like this you gotta ask yourself, does it really make sense? So as you can see from the website, Ideal 19 is not exactly the same type of function as a comic book or a pop culture convention. Do you believe that diversity and inclusion are essential to personal and organizational excellence in the library and archives professions? Are you doing groundbreaking research on diversity and inclusion? In this type of function, it makes perfect sense that you'd want to make sure the person you're taking a picture of is consenting to that photo, because maybe they're going there to share some ideas or beliefs that other people may try to use against them. I don't know. If you look up this place, right? If you look it up, it doesn't really tell you much about it. Images don't really convey much. If I remove conference from it, maybe I'll see more. No, I find Ohio's finest corn. Just to drive a point home here, let's look up Youmacon. Right? Now, in a big convention like Yoma, you know, people are posting for pictures, but look how many people are in the background. It's impossible in this conference most of the time. Like sometimes you can get moments like this where someone's against the wall and you can control the flow of traffic, but most of the time you're going to get someone in the background who's clearly not a part of the photo. And in some situations, it could be completely unreasonable to expect you to turn around and delete a photo because someone in the background has a red lanyard. Imagine you caught this moment right here on camera. You caught this picture of all these Assassin's Creed cosplayers posing for a picture in the middle of the big hall. I've gone to a lot of conventions, all right? I know this spot. This is the spot for photo shoots, videography things. Everyone does stuff right here, high traffic area. You cannot enforce that type of policy in an area like this. You cannot, because of one person in the background with the red lanyard, you expect them to delete all of this? Average Joe, who doesn't have Photoshop to just magically edit somebody out of the picture, as some people are suggesting they do. It's unreasonable. It's not reasonable. Why should the photographer be punished for taking a picture in a public place? It doesn't make sense, no matter how you cut it. I don't mean to sound rude, but it's ridiculous. And this is just Youmacon. This is our biggest convention, right? If you want to take a picture of like you want to take a picture of the dealers area and to showcase how big it is or what's going on here. This is Anime Expo right here. Anime Expo. There's no way you can enforce a badge policy like that at Anime Expo. Hey, I see some of my friends here. Yo, it's T Pikachu. He does good cosplays. He's the diva from a lot of my con videos. And yo, Thomas the Tank Engine, also a friend of mine. Imagine what's creepier, honestly, if it's a creep factor that you're concerned about. What's creepier? You know, walking up to someone and saying, hey, I really like your costume. May I take a picture of it? Or B, running up to a person saying, hey, I really like your costume. Can you follow me to a secluded and quiet area without a bunch of people? And let me take your picture real quick. What's creepier? Just ask. Let's sit down for a second. Let's talk about this. Consent. The key word behind the whole thing is consent. The whole idea behind this movement is consent. Now, we've established that those lanyards in that photo aren't even being used in the same type of function as people are trying to like promote it to be used for. Like, oh, that's a great idea. We should use this for conventions. That setting, entirely different than a Comic-Con, an anime convention, a gaming convention, PAX, Yoma, Shooter's gone, Colossal. I don't know what that sound was, but whatever. But guys, all you have to do is ask. I'm Mobby Nerd. If you like this video, then give a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, go ahead and dislike it. It's A-okay. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.